Good evening, everybody.
Good
And I
evening.
want to welcome you to our session. We have an awesome, very, very special guest this evening,
Yep.
and it's Miss Abbygale Arenas DeLeon. Welcome, Miss Abby.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome.
I already like what you said. Awesome. I like that already. Thank
Yes,
you.
I infect people wherever I go with that word. From up and down the countries wherever I go,
Yep.
and if if we can, everyone give me the privilege of introducing Miss Abigail. And Miss Abigail Arenas de Leon is not only an experienced professional image consultant, she's also a certified image professional, a mother, and a beautiful wife.
Wow.
And before starting her own image consultancy firm, Miss Abigail I mean, professional model, okay? She strutted the catwalks as an international fashion model in Europe, New York, Hong Kong, and Singapore. And she was also the Philippines representative in the Miss Universe pageant in 1997. And we were talking earlier that I was privileged enough and old enough to watch that in 1997. And she was trained at the Association of Image Consultants Center in New York City and has worked on various programs that delve into the personality development, business etiquette, social graces, and professional wardrobe consultancy. So, Ms. Abigail is currently the owner and managing director of Personify Image Studio Inc., an image consultancy firm established in 2007, and they offer workshops, seminars, and conventions on attitude, behavior, and appearance in the corporate world. And in her book, 88 Things Every Professional Should Know or Else, she answers these questions. What would you do if you're faced with a person whose name has slipped your mind? Happened to me many times. Or when there are so many utensils in front of you during a business lunch and you don't know what to do with them. Okay? And can you decline a handshake from someone who is clearly suffering from the cold or in today's new normal? Okay? So, from dressing up, developing rapport, navigating workplace etiquette, and business dining with manners, corporate trainer and former beauty queen, and in my book, still a beauty queen, Abigail Arenas de Leon. And we are so blessed and thankful to have you here this evening, Miss
Mhm.
Abigail. We are touched and honored, and with deep respect, we thank you for being here with us this evening.
Yes. Thank you so much, Abigail. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so
And
much, Chris. I'm so impressed with your research. Thank you. I've
it,
never it's been a long time since anyone done research like that on me. Thank you.
you're welcome, most welcome, most welcome. So let's start us off with our first question this evening.
Mhm,
Um, we all face people and in all different situations. So
mhm,
let me ask you this question:
mhm.
why is image important? And actually, maybe a better question is, why is image so important?
Well, I have been talking about that for almost 24, 23 years. And I think it's the very driving force that ended me here in this type of career. That image is important. And yet, not a lot of people would take that seriously. But I take it seriously, I take it personally. And I'm telling you, when you have the right image, so much opportunity, so much doors, so much windows will actually open. You just have to find the right image. Now, sometimes, well, I have seen this so many times. A lot of people are very intelligent. They have the good background. They have all this good experience. But during an interview, if one is not dressed well, they might lose
Mm,
that advantage. It's
right,
really little. It's really something that is so little, and yet it means so much.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So just off that. So when would you consider let's say proper hygiene or
Mhm.
maybe flossing and things like that part of
Oh,
the image?
absolutely, absolutely.
Amen.
Imagine
I totally agree.
these are all imaging, so
Right.
it's not just on how you look, how you maintain yourself. It's also how you move, how you communicate using your body language, your hands, your gestures. So even the way you choose the color of your clothes, even the way you used to frown your eyebrows and stuff like that. So even what you
Mm.
talk about is part of all the image.
Right. So is there a difference between, let's say, image and poise?
Oh yes, poise is just one aspect of imaging. So
Mm-hmm.
poise is the way you carry yourself. Poise is the way you control your actions. So
Okay.
that differentiates between a man and a boy. That differentiates
Right.
between a lady and a girl. So
Okay.
once upon a time, we were all boys and girls. We used not to have that poise. But once you are more mature, then you gain poise. Then we are more labeled as ladies and gentlemen. It is a necessity. It is an essential to have that poise to gain that proper image. But it's just one
So
aspect.
so poise can be something like for a lady, a woman, grace, to
Mhm,
walk in the room gracefully.
mhm.
So how would poise be for a guy, a
Oh,
gentleman?
the gentlemanly way.
Yeah.
Poise to men is a gentlemanly way. So let's say
Okay, you need to explain that.
Yeah,
that
you need to explain it to D.
It sounds like an
Miss Abby, you have to
oxymoron.
explain it to D.
that's the huge difference of being boys and girls and between man and being gentlemen and being ladies. So
Okay.
there's a big difference in that. So you would know that a person is poised or a person is more composed, more in control of herself if practices poise and proper imaging.
Oh, so there's things that we have to do, the practice.
Mhm. Oh yes, it takes practice, but don't be scared, Coach T, because poise. When we say poise, it's all about controlling one's action. That's it. That's all it is. So it's not about learning how to walk with a book on the head. Nothing like that. But when
Okay.
we get
Whew.
to control, but when we get to control our actions,
Okay.
there's mindful movements in every actions that will actually result to poise.
Thank goodness. Thank you for clarifying that,
Yeah.
Abigail. Thank you.
Yeah. Since you're mentioning that, I'm sitting up. I'm sitting up a little bit straighter. I'm trying to make myself have more poise, and hopefully, I'll get a comment from you at the end of our session.
Know what? I usually have that kind of effect to people. The moment I open my mouth and tell them what I do, then in the first few minutes, the people will be sitting up like this, and then
Yeah.
after we speak, they will be like, because it
Yeah.
really makes a difference. It makes a
Right.
huge difference.
It's
Right.
definitely the energy that you obviously can kind of just shine off on yourself, and I'm sure it reflects, and it gives us the energy like, oh, wait, we're talking with Abigail here. Sit up straight.
Yeah. I also am a big and firm believer in presenting the first impression.
Mhm.
I mentioned to you that I just came back from a 3 4 day training. I handled the last 3 days for an organization, and it's my first day. I had on a three-piece suit, ties, cufflinks, everything was shoe shine, almost perfect. And as we went day by day, I lost. Well, I didn't lose. I removed excess pieces. Not that I'm wearing the same suit the 3 days, but my next outfit was, a sport jacket and jeans and a vest. And then after that, it was, I was just wearing slacks, of course, proper shoes, and then no jacket with just rolled up sleeves.
Okay,
And
Chris, I
so,
just want to remind you
yeah,
we are live. Okay, so
yes,
are we gonna go any more lighter than after the shirt?
yes, yes. So I believe that a positive first impression is important, and then when you have that, then you can bring it a little bit less, or a little bit more relaxed. So, which leads into my next question. Um, so, what is part of image? It's not just clothes, right? And we
No,
talked about poise. So, what else is part of image,
no. First and foremost, Chris, it's not the suit that always create the best impression.
right?
Sometimes it's all about adaptability. You have to learn the audience first. So, and then the
Right.
rule, the common rule there is dress up a notch higher, just a notch higher. So that means that
Right.
if you be having a very sporty group, then you will be
Mm.
expected to be in at least jeans and a polo shirt, and then that will be
Understood.
good. You don't want to be too far from it, or else you will end
Right.
up so stiff. So
Right.
part of giving that best first impression is understanding your audience and making sure that you become relatable, so that they will be
Mm.
somehow the likability. We only have 7 seconds to create a first impression, so we have to make.
Okay.
So sometimes we don't want to over, or we don't want it to under the demand. Yeah. So
Right.
sorry, what was your question? Again, I forgot.
So, as part of image, besides poise, it's not just the clothes that we wear, right? What else? What else makes up image? And would you say there's a difference between ladies and gentlemen
Oh,
for the components?
well, for the word, ladies and gentlemen, I would say this, it will all go back to being poised. But then again,
Mm.
you are right. It's not just clothing, it's how we carry ourselves. In the beginning, in the very, very beginning, maybe I can pull out a picture, maybe later.
Sure.
Not this one. Because I can you do that? Okay. Jamie's picture. I'll show you something. It's not here.
Sure.
Okay. So I'll just pull out something, because sometimes people will think that it's all about the clothing, but the truth
Right.
is it's not the clothing. I'm gonna try to. Okay, and it has a 1 day program. Almost. Hang on, hang on. All the way. There you go. That one. Okay. Can I share screen? I'll show you
Of
this.
course.
This is one of my favorite ways on how to explain how important imaging is. So as you can see, now can you see this picture yet?
Yes, we can.
Yes?
Yep.
Yes? Okay.
G. Yes. Okay.
Look at this lady here. So this is actually a case study. So if you take a look at the lady here, what would be your first impression? So I'm gonna have Chris and Coach D as my participants. So what do you think of her right now?
For
I would
me,
say, yeah. Go ahead, D.
oh, okay, sorry. For me, I see that she's slouching.
She's slouching. So that gives you an impression of what?
She's not very confident. She's kind of maybe a little, basically unconfident of herself.
Right, Coach D?
Right.
So Coach D, if she's applying for a job, you think she's gonna get a second interview?
Truthfully, it depends who else this man is going to be interviewing.
So in this situation, without no background on this particular photograph, you can
Right.
see that this lady is in a more inferior position.
Yes, correct. I
Right.
agree.
Even make up a story that the guy is actually interviewing, but there's not going to be a second interview and stuff like that, all because she did not show confidence. She did not show that look of smartness, that very thing that every employer is actually looking for. But
Okay.
if you take a look at her from head to toe, okay, head to foot, she did everything correct. Starting from the
Right.
head. Corporate standards dictates that we have to make sure that we will show off all the features of the face, and she has her hair up, bun, and tied and up away from the face.
Mm-hmm.
So that's correct. So as you can see, with the hair alone, there's effort. And then there's also light makeup for the ladies. Of course, if you're gonna go for a job interview, light makeup is expected, and she's wearing it. And look at the outfit. I mean, if you are in doubt, put on a jacket, put on a collared shirt and skirt, and then heels of at least an inch and a half of heels. That's good. And I'm pretty
Okay.
sure she did all her hygiene necessities. She took a shower, she put lotion on, she brushed her teeth, all of that. So
Right.
my point is, even if you have it in physical appearance, step by step in physical appearance, you got that checked. It will not give the best impression.
Right.
Because I'll give you the next picture.
Cool. Thank you so much, Abigail.
What do you
We've been
think?
getting live samples too. Thank
What
you.
do you think of her now?
Chris, your turn.
Well, you know what? She looks more confident. She doesn't look more dominant, but she seems to be more pleasant looking. And everything that you mentioned, the clothes, the hair, the shoes, it all fits right with the persona that she's trying to put out.
Mhm.
I like the fact that her hand is up.
Mhm.
Right, so she's like she can be very expressive by so she has that confidence where she can express herself better. I don't know, because before I noticed that her hand was in a lap, which seemed very polite, But now with her hand up, it seems like she is trying to make things more clear.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Exactly. True. So this expression, this is a self-expression, and then the upright position, it gives that look of smartness. So as you can see, it's not really on the clothes. Some people will think that imaging is all about putting on makeup and having the right clothes.
Mhm.
It's not. It's all about self-awareness in the beginning. So it all starts here in your head. So we have to make sure that we are fully conscious enough. I always say this, that my main job is to make everyone be more conscious on how people will perceive that. Because
Mm,
when we are
Mhm.
the frontliners of our company, it's not just we are not just being the frontliners, but we are the image of the entire company. Because people will not have a chance to get to know the actual personality of the company except through the people, through the frontliners. So
Right.
mm-hmm.
you will not be able to have a chance to meet the CEO, but they will always have a chance to meet the people right in front of them. So that's
Mhm.
one way of the importance of why it is important to be mindful and be conscious, and being a frontliner is such a big responsibility. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Mhm. No problem. That was,
Thank
I
you.
really like the examples. It looks like you put effort into trying to get us to understand what you're saying, because we think in pictures and images, right?
That's
Yep.
true, true. And
Yeah.
we shoot this. Well, it helps that I'm married to a photographer, so we shoot this pictures, and then it's very it's I do not buy it in a box, something like that. I try my best
Ah,
to
it's customized. It's
fully
yours. It's your creation.
it's my so
Well,
that eventually
right,
led to my book because of those
Awesome.
right.
pictures as
Well,
well.
the next time you write a book, if you want a model for, to give a good example, you have my number. Okay.
Number two.
Okay. Awesome. Now,
Oh
let
man.
me ask you this: what kind of image should we present in different situations? Okay, for example, last year and this year, we're in a more online format, and it seems like some of us are starting to go to a little bit more face to face, but still online is taking precedence right now. So, how can we look sharp in different situations, especially in an online format?
All right. In an online format, it's very important. Hang on. I have a specific answer for that one. This one. Okay, let's
Oh,
see the
awesome.
technicalities. So we are giving a free lecture for our audience today. There you go. Let me start
Thank
the
you.
screen again. And I have this. This is one of the slide, one of the first slides that we have developed during the time that it was all online. So we need to make sure that we address the technicalities. I'm gonna
Sure.
have to be honest that in the beginning of all of this, I was clueless. I didn't like technology. I'm not even a big fan of all this social media, and then I had no choice. So
Right.
when I was starting, these are my first learnings. Okay, first and
Right.
foremost, when you attend a program, when you attend a meeting, a virtual meeting, you have to make sure that you are named professionally. Sometimes, until now, I still see people who will be joining the meeting, and then it will be the cell phone name, or sometimes a funny name, or sometimes it's somebody else's name. And then make sure that you have a photo that will actually represent you when you have your video off. And then have a light source facing you is very, very important. Obviously, Coach T and Chris, you know the value of this. It's just so it's not nice to look at people in a meeting wherein they have dark faces. So just
Right.
a little trick, a simple lamp will do the trick.
Yes.
Make sure that it will be facing you. But you don't want the lamp to be facing you directly on the face. Like I would see people buying so many ring lights, 3, 4 ring lights all around, and then they end up with
And
their
then,
crowning
whoa,
eyebrows because it's just too bright. So you don't want that to happen.
suntan.
I know, right? So you want to make sure that it will be even out. And then
Mhm.
putting the camera at eye level. I still see a lot of people who would put their laptop on the table and then
Like
it
that.
would be
Yeah.
up like that. So I've been telling people just buy a breakfast tray or stack up the books and then until it reaches your eye level. So that will
Mhm.
Right.
be the right position.
Absolutely.
And then both
Absolutely.
shoulders in view with the headroom. So imagine if I'll be talking to you like this,
I
just
know, huh?
that. So it's gonna be like a face-to-face meeting wherein you will be facing somebody in front of the table. So basically, it's gonna be like one-fourth part of the body that will be in the full view. So both shoulders and a little bit of headroom, and then technical glitches will happen. So just in case,
Yeah.
the laptop would fall or somebody would come in, or oh, the power will go out, just maintain poise. So you're
Right.
not supposed to shout or be angry. It is expected. And then
Oh,
if you can find a workspace with a door, that would be fantastic, because that would give you good control on what's going to happen inside the room. And then we always create a professional working environment. I'm not saying that you should build one, but just to create a professional working environment will be very beneficial as a professional. So that means that when you go to that area, don't eat there, don't play, don't sleep, because when you go to that area, you want to have a switch in your brain that you will be working. So you want to go there prepared. I have this tiny room, and then whenever I come here, it's all about work. So
Mm-hmm.
that gives me a more professional setup. Now let me just quickly do this. Okay, this is an example. This is not mine. This is somebody else's, but it has all the things that we need. Let's say the best Wi-Fi that you can get, the light, the computer, the beverages,
Mm-hmm.
the cell phone, the stationaries, the chargers, the outlets, the audio will have to be an arm's length away. So
Yep.
then you have a very good workstation. So
Mm-hmm.
this
awesome.
is one of the first things that I developed. I'll stop share now. So this is the very first few slides that I've developed during the time, because it's very important to transit to webinars. As mentioned before this pandemic, I've never been in a webinar, imagine,
Mm-hmm.
until last April.
I
But
saw you. I saw you in April.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
after
It's
that.
like it's like I keep watching you. I promise I'm not stalking you. Promise.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier, Abigail. I'm sorry about that.
No
You know,
problem.
a quick
Okay.
follow-on question, a very quick follow-on question.
Yes.
The, I see a lot of participants. They have a terrible virtual background. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and your background is nice and clean, and it's not just that, Miss Abby. It's the, you don't have the cutouts. Like when you move, you don't have the,
Oh, you
and
know
then
what?
some of your face. So can you share with us how you do that?
Okay. This is green screen. Can I remove it?
That's
Oh,
why.
I'm gonna remove
Okay.
wow.
the background. Hang
Okay.
on. And you will see a green screen behind me. Ta-da! That's it.
Yes.
Ah,
So this is a green screen. This is a
Right.
tripod. So
Right.
this is a tripod. So
Right.
that's now. In the beginning of this webinars, I did not. Again, so it's showing a little bit. So I'm gonna have to
Uh,
adjust. There you go.
yep.
So in the beginning,
With
poise,
poise.
beautiful poise.
Adjust it with poise.
of course,
Yes.
in the beginning of all of these webinars, I didn't have a green screen. So, but I would always keep my background clean all the time. So
Clean and neat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
very clean, no personal belongings at the back. Sometimes we tend to forget about that. So that
Mm.
reminded me about the corner to corner mentality. That means that if you are going to be speaking, it is your responsibility. Everything that happens in all four corners will be your responsibility. So that
Right.
if somebody crosses, if somebody, if something there that's that like a towel, dirty clothes and stuff like
Hmm.
that, it's gonna be our responsibility. So it's what's called the corner to corner mentality. So the green screen helps a lot. So even as I move, it doesn't cut me in any
Right.
way. So
I like that. Just that one simple thing.
yes,
Yep.
yes. And
Okay.
then you order it online, it's really cheap. It gets there in two,
Right.
3 days.
You,
Yes.
you know, by you doing that, Abigail, it reminds me of the Wizard of Oz.
That's
The
right.
secret has been unveiled. Thank you so much for that.
But yeah. Another one is when you choose a virtual background, see to it that it's not going to be as distracting. Or sometimes I would see young people choosing all these different colors, or sometimes even
Yeah.
moving backgrounds, and that's
Right.
really not good for the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
Too
one guy one
distracting.
time.
Yeah.
He had a dog,
Hmm.
and the dog was moving. He was going, and I was like, "Is that a real dog?" you know.
Oh, there's one more requirement, Miss Abby. Have a partner, husband or wife, that is extremely tech savvy.
Oh, that is my biggest secret. I have my 19-year-old
Right.
son. I'm gonna ask for his hand right now. Right there.
Hello. Hey,
Hey.
come on in. Come on in.
Very, very good son. He doesn't like that. I have
Oh,
Okay.
a very, very good son. He's 19. He's a film student in Chicago, but he was forced to come
Okay.
in March last year. So now
oh,
Hmm.
I'm taking advantage of all his knowledge in filmmaking and
wow.
photography and
Can
design.
you send him? Can you send him over here for just a few
Yeah,
days?
we would love to go to KL. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is he the one to explain the green screen theory?
Yeah, well, he did this. He did this.
Wow. What's his name?
Ija.
Ija. Thank you,
Awesome. Thank you,
Ija.
Ija.
All right. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
I like that.
In all my webinars, sometimes I would have webinars that would go 8 hours and stuff like that. So he would be there. So I'm just grateful for.
Yeah.
I love you, baby.
Awesome. Awesome.
He's
Awesome.
6 feet, but I call him baby.
Baby.
Okay.
Yeah. No, always. Always.
Yeah,
Mommy's.
we are recording this, so anytime you want to embarrass him, just play that part again. All
Yep.
right?
Abigail, you were Miss Universe.
Mhm.
Now you're a businesswoman.
Yes.
How was that transition for you? From uh, I
Beauty
don't know
queen.
what you call it.
Beauty
I'm
queen.
but yeah, beauty queen. Like, and then all of a sudden you're going into business. How is that for you?
Yes, you know what? Being a beauty queen and then becoming a professional speaker is not so bad. What was kind of hard was being a model, a fashion model, and then being a speaker. So because being a beauty queen, you still get to control the image. You know, being a beauty queen is beautiful and sweet, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's all about personality. So that was pretty easy. It was pretty near to what I wanted to become, a professional speaker. But
Wow. Okay.
before I became a beauty queen, I was a fashion model, a professional fashion model for quite some years. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's not, I don't have a say on what type of personality I will be having for that day. So
Hmm.
sometimes I will be having like a wedding gown. The next day I will be wearing a tribal outfit. You know, you have no control of how the designers would want you to be. So that was a little difficult because people would still see me in magazines even as I was speaking. So I'll be in a suit and then somebody will be looking at, is this you in a very rugged outfit? So it wasn't consistent on my message. So I had to
Mm.
that was a kind of difficult. So I had to really say no to a lot of modeling jobs just because I
Hmm.
wanted to transit into something else, into a more beauty queen like a role model, like a
Right.
teacher like. So that's the part was kind of tricky for me. But I also like to add that even after all these things, I was speaking in front of people face to face for almost 2 decades, and that's exactly what I love doing. And
Mm-hmm.
then, bam,
Hmm.
pandemic happens. Suddenly, everything is online. So
Mm.
Right.
that is gonna be unforgettable for me because the very first webinar that I did, I was in front of the computer 1 hour before the actual time, and I was just having nervous breakdown. I was all by myself, but I was, you know, I don't know how people in Facebook would accept me as a speaker, you know, in webinar. I've never done it, but then
Okay.
I was just so glad and happy that I got like thousands of people watching me on my first webinar, and
Awesome.
it was like a launch for me. So it was like launching my new career. So
Wow.
very blessed and very very happy, very very grateful to all of these people.
Okay.
That's
So,
awesome.
I mean, maybe this would be helpful for some of our viewers. Like, you're a beauty queen,
Mhm.
um, and then you're a business person, right? So now you have things like hiring, firing, bookkeeping. Did you have to do that stuff when you were a beauty queen?
No, when
Okay.
when I
Isn't it
when
great to be beautiful? You don't have to do anything.
I don't have to do anything. You know? Well, during my first year, we had a manager. We had this Binibining Pilipinas management. So during that first year, during that whole stint, we had
Hmm.
everything done for us. And then
Okay.
the funny story, I have a funny story because a day after after that 1 year when somebody else's was crowned already, I went to a plane and I wanted to go. Okay, can I go over there? Like, oh, you're in the economy. Like, I want to go over there. And then I was told that this is your ticket. Okay, so the reality now is real. So
Mm.
Mm.
it's just so different. Suddenly it's no longer a secure life. It's no longer a what do you call that? I forgot the term, but it's
Privilege.
the privileged life. So I had 1 year of privileged life, being a beauty queen and having everything done for me, until I was told that I had to pay for my extra baggage and stuff like that. And then I realized, okay, so that is finished. So
Right.
that part. And then in business, I normally hire people because I know what I am good at. I'm not good with bookings. I'm not good with bookkeepings. I'm not good with negotiating my price. Not good in that. So I have to
Okay.
hire people. So my main job is to speak. My main job is to do the program and then deliver it, and then
Hmm.
that's going to be my main job.
Okay. I found the word now that I was looking for. It was like a superstar.
Ah, Siguro. Well, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can say
Well,
that.
a rock star or like, people
Maybe
see.
because I didn't realize when I was in it. I realized it after when I was out of it.
Oh, okay,
Like,
okay.
oh, really?
You mean you didn't you thought everything came naturally, right? You're
I
like, oh yeah, it's
know.
okay. I can sit in first class
Yeah.
whenever I want to,
I
right?
know. So when I had to pay for my excess baggage, that's when the reality hits me now.
Oh,
So
okay.
now I know. Now I know.
Okay. So
I
like
I
for I'm sorry, Chris.
Go ahead.
One
Go
more,
ahead,
one
D.
more, one more.
Just wanted to share, Miss Abby. Irish is shouting your name, and she says, "I miss you and love," from Irish.
Sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
there. Oh, I couldn't see it. It's in Facebook. Hi,
Yeah,
Irish.
yeah.
I love you, Irish. I love.
Great. So, what I was about to say was, so I lost my track of thread. We had an audience who was saying that's good to know. Anyway, anyway, Chris, let's move on.
Sure.
I'll
Okay.
catch up on it later.
Age catches up with D and myself, Miss Abby. Age catches up with us. For
But
others more
that
than
is
me, but
too far.
yeah.
But
So
before we
okay.
go, did I handle
Uh,
that okay, Abby?
Yes, yes, you did.
yes,
Good
Yes,
you
boy.
did.
Thank you.
until
Yeah.
Chris mentions about the age.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm gonna get scolded about that later, yeah, right? So that you're minusing my points now.
Nah, nah,
Okay.
but you can do that.
So
Okay.
we talk about pandemic,
Mhm.
and it's not just one country or a region, it's global, and we've all experienced the ups and downs, the things in front of us, that we cannot get through, and you talked about getting yourself into the online environment with webinars. So my question is, besides that part, how has the pandemic affected you, and maybe some of your clients without naming names, and how did you overcome these challenges?
Challenges of this pandemic, where and how do we start? It's we
Yeah.
haven't seen the end of it. We're still in it. So
Mhm.
truth is, well, of course, when I started with webinars through Arriva, of course, thank you to them. But then
Thank you
again,
to Arriva. Yes. Yeah.
they gave me the opportunity to be out in the open again. I thought I was not going to speak ever again. Imagine. So I was kind of depressed for a few months over that, because that's all I do. I mean, I speak. I live for the stage. I like the lights on my face. That's exactly what speaking does for me. And then suddenly all
Mm.
of those is gone. I mean,
Mm.
I have my whole year plotted out, and then everything is gone. So no contracts, no money coming in, and then there's no one that you can call. So
Right.
I would say that I had this panic months where I was just traveling on anything. But truth is, I think the pandemic has brought in so much good than the bad, like having
Mm-hmm.
spent time at home. Like
Mm.
my son, I have a 4-year-old son. Well, I only have two. I have a 19-year-old here and a 4-year-old son. So my 4-year-old son still thinks that I am still on a long vacation, long weekend, a whole year long weekend. So he would love the time that he would be with me. Then I
Right.
realized that, cooking for the family from breakfast, lunch, and dinner is such a blessing,
Yeah.
and being with them. And then I have discovered a lot of things about me. Let's say
Mhm.
that I don't like dirty floors, so I just end up vacuuming every hour or so. And I like
Mhm.
making snacks and things like this.
Mm.
And you know, I think this is when the essentials and the non-essentials came in. Then the essentials is being with my son, having talks with my son until 12 o'clock at night, you know, and then
Mhm.
having appreciating his movies. Sometimes he would ask us to watch anime, you know, things like that. And we would
Yeah.
not do
Oh,
not
I
pandemic.
was just finished watching that, Abigail.
But now we are appreciating each other. So we well, he actually did a home theater outside. So outside, instead of straining our eyes on TV, so he would put that big screen, and then we will take turns. Yesterday it was Sesame Street. It was Elmo. So everybody was just watching Elmo for my little boy. And then sometimes it will be Kim's Convenience, or sometimes Community and stuff like that. So sometimes it's going to be what's me and Crown. So if it's Crown, it's me and Daddy. So we get to appreciate each other, and I think the relationship is much appreciated. So
Mm,
these are the things that I am truly grateful. Without the pandemic, you know, we would normally be back
Yeah.
in our everyday busy
Daily grind.
daily
Yeah.
grind. You know,
Yeah.
I'm out of town at least twice a week. You know,
mm.
sometimes weekends I'm not even home. But now I get to cook breakfast, lunch, dinner all the time. So
When you send your son over to help with the technical stuff, can you come over as well?
I'll send him through airmail.
Right,
Yeah.
but you have to come also.
No, I would love
Yeah.
to. You know what, Chris? Honestly, if
He's
this is not
waving.
a pandemic, I think I should be over there in KL and having
Yeah.
a coffee with you and stuff.
Right.
Awesome.
I love it when your son puts his hand out and he waves when we talk about him.
He's there.
That's
He's
just
there.
awesome.
Abigail, tell us about your book. You
So
have a book that has
it's
88.
88 things every professional should know or else. Now, the reason why I wrote this book is that I speak normally every single day,
Mm-hmm.
talking about imaging, talking about the importance of it, and trying to make it sound as simple as possible in the best way I can. But then again, I realized if I would be able to write a book, then I would be reaching a lot more people. Now,
Right.
if you open my book, it doesn't matter what page you're going to be in, it will say Number 35, how to work the room. So this is all about social networking, or networking in that particular. So
Hmm.
you get to learn something right away. It is written as simple, using simple words, using bullets, nothing of those highfalutin words, nothing like that, because
Hmm.
imaging is simple, it's straightforward. If,
Time out.
yes, Chris,
Now, this
mm,
will work for even us non-superstars, right?
for everyone.
Okay, just checking.
And we can just open it and go to anything. We don't have to read it 1 to 88.
No,
It's
Right.
no.
it's any,
What?
right?
So if you will just open it, let's say it will say fashion misdemeanors. So it's a
All
fashion
right.
misdemeanor in all across industry. So
Okay.
Okay.
it is, I know it is acceptable. When I wrote this book, I put it in the very first part, that my inspiration. I
Mm.
rode a car years ago. I rode a car, and there was this driver, and this driver was very professional. Meaning, he
Hmm.
came on time. The car was smelled so good, it's so clean, and
Hmm.
he was so respectful. And then every time there would be a car who would want to pass by us, I just let it be, and he was just telling stories, something like that. And then I
Hmm.
asked him that, do you realize, his name's Mangguding. Mangguding, do you realize that you are a professional driver? And he told me, oh ma'am, I have always been a professional driver for 35 years. And
Wow.
that just really struck me, because professionalism applies to everyone. So if you do your
Right.
job correct, if you do
Mm-hmm.
your job right, and you're proud of what you do, and you
Hmm.
get paid, of course, you get paid of what you do, then that is professional. That is being professional.
Now,
So
so now this book is available. Where is it available? Is it on
well,
Amazon?
it is. It's not. No, it's not yet. No, it's not yet in Amazon.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah, but I will. I will. Right now, you can buy it from us.
Okay.
So I will send you how to get it. Just
Yes, please send us a link,
Okay.
and we will post
Yep.
it on our replay and our Facebook, because
yeah,
I know I sure could use it. I know. Well,
I'll buy it for you. I'll buy it for you, D.
Okay, that's a
I'll buy it
promise.
for you.
I'm gonna buy it for
Yeah,
you.
I'll get it for you. I'm gonna get a copy. I'll order a copy, Miss Abby, and
Yes,
I'll have it shipped over to D.
Thank you so
He'll
much.
need it. He'll need
Thank
it
you
as soon
both.
as possible. We'll
yes.
try to get it. We'll get it to him as soon as possible.
Thank
So,
you so much.
um, we deeply appreciate the your golden advice.
Yes,
I loved, and I'm sure Dee and everyone loved hearing the stories that you
for
shared.
sure.
Um, do you have, well, you're someone special, okay, Miss Abby,
Yep.
and normally we end off our session with, do you have any final words of advice for this session?
Mhm,
Um, but I'm going to ask you to do something a little bit different, okay?
mhm, mhm.
So I'm going to ask you to share with the audience. Do you have any final words of advice if somebody is looking to go into beauty pageants and or going into business? Do you have any advice for us in that?
I have this one advice that I like giving people who would want to wear crowns on top of their head. So
Mm-hmm.
you may wear the crown on top of your head for like a year, but guess
Mm-hmm.
what? It's not even the most important thing because once you wear a crown on top of your heart, that will be forever. So if
Okay.
you wear that crown on top of your heart, that means it will give you more very good relationship, the relationship with other people, that will be something. And
Mm-hmm.
being a good person is very essential, and that's all that matters. So
Awesome.
wear
That's
that crown
wonderful.
on your heart all the time.
That's
Thank you
wonderful.
so much.
That's
Yep.
wonderful.
In
Do you have anything, any final words for Miss Abby D?
Well, yeah, for sure. Thank you so, so much for being here and, sharing your time with us, sharing your ideas and tips. And we do hope to hear more about your books that are coming out, I'm sure, right? And then, yeah, thank you again. Thank you so, so much for being here.
Awesome.
thank you for having me here.
We'll end off our session in just a minute. One quick announcement: we are organizing a virtual summit at the end of June, and it is called Selling to Millennials in Asia. And one of our wonderful speakers is Miss Abigail Arenas DeLeon, and that'll be the end of June. And we will share that information in the coming weeks. All right. And Miss Abby, if you, once we end the session, just stay with us for about 30 seconds, okay?
Mhm.
And I wanna thank everyone for listening in. The comments that came in,
Mhm.
everything's deeply appreciated. And once again, I want to extend our heartfelt thanks from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, Miss Abby, for joining us this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yes, thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you so much, Coach D, and thank you so much for listening, everyone.
All
Salamat.
right,
Salamat.
everyone, have a good night. Selamat. Good night.
Maganda, magandang gabi.
Maganda